Today I'm going to be talking about Alright, so there's this new A24 movie, and it's also an Apple TV movie. It's called Causeway, and the movie's plot is pretty much this. A U.S. soldier suffers a traumatic brain injury while fighting in Afghanistan and struggles to adjust to life back home. Alright, let's get into the good parts of this movie, and the first thing that I'm going to say that I really liked about this movie is Jennifer Lawrence and Brian Tyree Henry's chemistry. They were amazing together, and I know the movie is supposed to be about Jennifer Lawrence's character's like PTSD and the trauma that she suffered from war, but I thought the highlight of the movie was whenever Jennifer Lawrence's character and Brian Tyree Henry were together. Their relationship was amazing. I bought it from the beginning, and the movie takes its time really building this relationship, and by all means this relationship is not perfect, but you do want to see this relationship work because of the chemistry between the two actors. The next good thing that I'll say about this movie is its soundtrack. This soundtrack was amazing. I don't know who exactly, made the soundtrack, but they did a very good job because it had this unsettling but peaceful tone to it that I just really enjoyed, and it's playing throughout the whole movie, so it's not like it just showed up once. It's throughout the whole movie this certain eerie tone or eerie sound was playing throughout the whole movie, and I just really enjoyed it. Another good thing that I'll say about this movie is its camera work, and I will say this, the camera work is pretty simple for this movie, but it doesn't mean that it's not effective, and sometimes less is more, and I think that term applies to this movie pretty well, because once again, the camera work is very simple, but there's still a lot of beautiful shots or just nice shots in general that the movie's able to pull off. The last thing that I'll say before I get into the bad parts of this movie is Brian Tyree Henry. And him and Lakeith Stanfield have been in every single movie, I swear. But anyways, Brian Tyree Henry was great in this movie, and although Jennifer Lawrence is the main character of this movie, whenever Brian Tyree Henry was on screen, he completely stole the entire scene of anything that he was in. And honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing a movie of this character's experience, even though that's probably not going to happen. Alright, let's get into some of the bad parts of this movie, and the first thing that I will say is that although this movie is about, her trauma and stuff, and I think the movie does a good job of addressing that trauma, but it never shows us exactly what happened to her. We hear people say, and we hear Jennifer Lawrence's character say what happened, but I wish we could have seen what happened, because there's another movie that kind of reminded me of this one, but it's not really about this. But if there's one aspect that I think this other movie did better than this one, it's Brothers. If you remember Brothers, it's about Tobey Maguire and his PTSD from war. And I think the reason why Brothers was so impactful was because we actually saw what Tobey Maguire's character went through, and we see what he has to do to get back home. And when we see that, at least for me, I'm just speaking for myself here, once I see what he had to do, I feel much more connected to his character. While in this movie, we're told about what happened, but we never actually see what happens, and I feel like that's kind of where my disconnect with the movie kind of begins. The final bad thing that I'll say about this movie is that, once again, this movie is, at least the plot says that it's supposed to be about her recovery and her PTSD from war. But once again, once the Brian Tyree Henry and Jennifer Lawrence storyline gets involved, that plot kind of becomes the B plot. It doesn't mean that it, gets rid of it completely, because they still talk about it throughout the movie. But maybe it's just me, but I got more engaged in the Brian Tyree Henry and Jennifer Lawrence relationship than I did about her PTSD and trauma and her family life. I just think the movie did a better job with that relationship than it did with her family and PTSD stuff. Overall, guys, Causeway is acted very well by Jennifer Lawrence and Brian Tyree Henry. I thought the overall cast did a good job, but I wish there would have been more depth with Jennifer Lawrence's character. And overall, I'm going to go ahead and give Causeway a 7 out of 10. Have you seen Causeway? Did you like it or did you not like it? Let me know in the comments. And those are my thoughts on that.